Arsenal have been setting the standards at the start of the season. Can they make it? 4 wins from 4. Move back to the top of the WSL tonight. Very much the target. They've had too much for any team that they faced so far, so the gauntlet laid down to Aston Villa, who, like the Gunners, have made an unbeaten start to the season and begin just 2 points behind them. Real signs of progress after the restructuring in the summer, rebuilding under Carla Ward. Number of players followed the coach from Birmingham City. Others have been brought in to bolster the strength of the squad as well, and the rewards have been rapid at the start of this current campaign. Did hold Arsenal on the final day of last season. It's a very different Aston Villa side taking to the field today. Same applies to the visitors. Let us have a look at the lineups, and Aston Villa make 3 changes from their victory at Brighton last weekend. Summer signing Emily Gielnik, who scored the winner in that game, is missing today. Sarah Mayling suffering through illness, meaning a start for 16-year-old Olivia McLaughlin. Swiss international Alicia Lehmann comes back in, as does Alicia Endow at the back. And Freya Gregory making way, she starts amongst the subs. In the absence of Gielnik, Chantel Boy-Lorca is expected to play as a lone striker. Just 2 changes for Arsenal from the 5-0 thumping of Manchester City on match day 3. Leah Williamson is given a breather on the bench ahead of a Champions League trip to Barcelona on Tuesday, replaced by a fellow England international, Lotte Bubenmoy. Katie McCabe also starts as a sub, with Nikita Parris named in the Arsenal 11 for the first time in a WSL match since her summer signing. She scored against Spurs when starting in the FA Cup in midweek. A game in which Tobin Heath also made her full debut for the club. She's back on the bench for this one. 8 changes from midweek. Molly Heaslip in charge today as we get set to get the action underway. Both sides looking to make a significant early season statement after the unbeaten starts. Still attempting to maintain the momentum built up under Jonas Eidevall. Sweden has had an instant impact. 8 games played, 8 wins, 31 goals scored. And still, he says, they have room for improvement. Ominous for the rest of the WSL. Can Aston Villa step up to the challenge tonight? The home fans hopeful, given what they've seen at the start of the current campaign. Carla Ward believes the performances have been getting better, and that the display at Brighton, who also started top of the table, was their best yet. Everybody taking the knee ahead of kick-off, and it will be Aston Villa to get the action underway. Here we go then at Villa Park, much anticipated fixture this one. Brought forward a day at Arsenal's request because of their Champions League commitments in midweek, but significant business to try and take care of first as they look to maintain their winning start in the WSL. Five goals scored against both Manchester City and Tottenham in League and Cup in the week so far. Very much in the mood for more free-flowing at the start of the season. They don't need to dominate possession, Arsenal, to be dangerous. We've seen that at the start of the season. We may see a bit more of it here, and they've had plenty of it early on. Working the ball wide. And the attempted cross is swung in from Nikita Parris. It's one short of a half-century of goals in the WSL. Starting for Arsenal in the competition for the first time after those 2 years with Lyon. Deflected away off Pacheco. Early corner kick for the Gunners. They will bring Jen Beattie up from the back, but Leah Williamson watching on from the bench today. It is a dangerous delivery. It's flicked on and onto the top of the goal and behind from Miedemar. A fraction away already from this division's all-time record scorer. She's the one that helped it on. I think the final touch actually was off the Aston Villa defender here. It was. Came off Endow and onto the top of the bar. So another Arsenal corner, second in quick succession. It hasn't entirely been dealt with, but Villa will be able to scramble it clear. And maybe launch the counter-attack. Lehmann giving chase on her return to the team. Another of the summer signings, the Swiss international, who joined from West Ham. Ended last season actually on loan at Everton. She's looking for her first Aston Villa goal. She did score in both of last month's World Cup qualifiers for Switzerland. And a good ball in behind that Villa defence. A lot of questions going to be asked of Carla Ward's team in this part of the pitch. Certainly given the way the game has started. Here's the Arsenal captain, Kim Little, finding Moritz forward from full-back, and now Paris. Taking on Mas Pacheco, who stuck to her task, ensured what followed wasn't threatening. Moy given her opportunity in the heart of the defence, with Williamson having a rest. They were able to afford Jen Beattie the same against Spurs in midweek in the FA Cup. Jonas Eideveld rotating his options, taking their commitments across all the different competitions. And there's Olivia McLaughlin, the number 16, aged only 16, called into the starting lineup. Relatively short notice today because of Sarah Mayling's illness. Hannah Hampton in goal, not threatened by that. Keeper who followed her coach from Birmingham City, where she missed just one match in this league last season and has been very much Aston Villa's first choice since. Zinsberger at the other end, back in the Arsenal goal. Lydia Williams started the cup tie against Spurs. See how well organised Aston Villa are back behind the ball. Very much part of the game plan. Carla Ward admitted as much when she spoke at her press conference before the match. It's all about frustrating Arsenal, particularly early on. And Moritz attempt to combine down the right. Pacheco had to commit to the challenge, but she timed it well. And just took the ball away from Nikita Paris. The Arsenal player may beg to differ with the assessment, but does settle for the corner kick to come. Plenty committed forward in yellow. Again, it's a threatening delivery, but the goalkeeper not extended. Two hearts in Villa mouths every time that ball goes into that sort of area, though. It was coolly dealt with by Hannah Hampton. The way that Carla Ward has her side lining up backs up what she was saying, that they've set out here as the home side even to frustrate Arsenal. They'll give up a good share of possession and look to sit deep. Be difficult to break down. Just the one up top in Boy Lorca. Something of an outlet. Paris at the other end trying to get in behind. Again, Pacheco prevents her from doing so, but Paris has kept it alive. Kim Little swings in the cross. Miedemar, the obvious target. was given the night off against Spurs, watching on from the subs bench. Viviana Miedema. Already 5 goals in 4 appearances in Champions League qualifying and 4 in 3 in the WSL for Jonas Eidevald's team. Into the 18 that she scored in this league last season. 64 WSL goals in total. 7 more than Ellen White in second in the all-time scoring standings. Started this season in the mood to stretch that lead further. Just recently went past 100 goals for the club in all competitions. But a milestone that she paid little attention to. She says the numbers don't mean too much to Viviana Miedema. Deeper to try and pick up possession. Was momentarily dispossessed. Lorca had to drop deep herself to get her foot on the ball to win back possession for the home side. Couldn't quite force her way through. It's going to be pulled back by referee Heaslip. Second start of the season already for the 16-year-old. Her second senior season at the club, having also begun the game against Leicester City. To do primarily a defensive job today, and collectively the same could be said of Aston Villa. Remy Allen, he does have 2 goals for them so far this season from midfield, but the slip presents possession back to the Gunners here in dangerous territory. Miedema had made the run, she gets it now, she looks to work it on into the path of Kim Little. And it had to be dealt with and was by Endow. Slip which almost let in Mead could have been costly. It did open the door for her, and Arsenal did have players in support of the attack as well, but the pass wasn't quite precise enough in the final third. And now he's slotted back in at centre-back today, her second start of the season. Dealt with the danger. Little delivers though after the corner was taken short to her. Beatty up from the back, can't keep it on target. It was just taken off her head, wasn't it, by Frida Marnham in front of her here. Whereas with Petzelberger, he didn't provide her any sort of space. They will try and foray forward themselves with Maz Pacheco. Just beaten to it by Noel Maritz. The Swiss defender. Regular at right back so far for Arsenal. That's Pacheco. Former West Ham player who was signed in the summer. Slotted straight into the Aston Villa team. They have been such an impressive start considering the number of new arrivals. They appear to have gelled very quickly. Carla Ward saying everybody has bought in to what she's been trying to do from the day she came through the door. That's the work ethic of her team. That was just given away by Beatty. Petzelberger couldn't quite profit this time. A couple of encouraging signs for Ward. He was on the shortlist for manager of the season for keeping Birmingham City up last year in the circumstances that she had to deal with. Wonderful stage for her side today at Villa Park. London opposition this weekend for both the men and the women for Aston Villa. Trip to Spurs for Dean Smith's side on Sunday. Like their men's team got the better of their neighbours in the derby. Getting 5 past Spurs in midweek and threatening here maybe. This is Little, who's quickly closed down, still able to get a shot away. But Hannah Hampton was right behind it. Kim Little did get a couple of the goals against Tottenham in that cup quarter-final. The match against Manchester City, I should say, last time out in the WSL. Ruben Moy actually thought that she'd scored against Spurs. It later went down as an own goal, her deflected effort. She was the one trying to provide the opportunity. Little's 2 goals against Manchester City, her first 2 of the WSL season. She's got 3 in the Champions League as well. Arsenal had to pre-qualify for the inaugural group stages of that competition. In all 3 games that they played in Moscow, and then came past Slavia Prague. It's under a little bit of pressure here from almost out of nothing, and it did need the touch over the top from Zinsberger. Didn't appear an awful lot of danger initially, but Chantal Boy-Lorca was on the end of that, and it was an audacious attempt from the one-time Evertonian. Did need the goalkeeper's touch. She started every game, Boy-Lorca, since her summer signing from a home city side. Had risen through the ranks at Everton, 5 years with their first team. That would have been quite some way to introduce herself at Villa Park. They have to settle for the corner. Pacheco's going to take it. Beat the first defender. Cleared as far as Lehmann. Second go here for Villa to get it into the box. That's more threatening. Only Arthur to try and keep it alive. Back in again, just a little too high for Boy-Lorca. Megan Sargent who'd swung it in. But this is better from Aston Villa. Arsenal haven't been behind yet in the WSL all season. They did concede first in a game for the first time this season against Spurs on Wednesday, just 3 minutes into the match in Boreham Wood, but were 4-1 up before the first half was finished. They went on to win it 5-1. They've scored at least 3 goals in every game so far this season, whatever the competition. But they've been kept at bay for the opening quarter of an hour by Aston Villa here. Ruben Moy looking for options ahead of her. This is Noelle Moritz. Touch for Marnham. Open up for Mead. Villa with plenty back. They're going to need them. But the numbers were sufficient in the end. Beth Mead having started this season in such fabulous form. Not been having it all their own way so far. Given the game plan that Aston Villa have come into the match with, they won't be too concerned by Arsenal possession in this part of the pitch. Ruben Moy allowed to advance a little further. There's too much on it for Paris, who acknowledges the intent, but it was overhit. Still so important to this side. Kim Little, the 6th season back now of her second spell at the club. Jonas Eideveld does insist there is much more to come, despite the results that he's achieved so far. Particularly, he thinks defensively. So he can yet get a lot more secure than he's seen from them in the early weeks of his tenure. Despite the fact they have only conceded 1 goal through their last 4 matches in all competitions. Since letting in 2 to Chelsea on opening day in the WSL, albeit scoring 3 times themselves. Zinsberger building from the back. Still having to be patient in possession. The pattern has been established, I think, in that respect. Moy forward. There's Moritz. Now Little. Paris will reach it. Foot in was by Lehmann. He's being asked to do a defensive job as well on this near side, the Villa left. So far curtailing really her attacking instincts. There's been a big collective effort from Aston Villa. Further evidence of how effective that defensive job has been so far. Still early in the piece, of course. Quite zipping the ball around with the intensity we've seen from Arsenal at the start of the season. Seems to be holding up a little bit at times on the surface. Plenty of possession for them. Moritz. Niedermar's come deeper, which she loves to do. Little, Paris back towards Kim Little. He's able to wriggle into a bit more room.
Make it go backwards. Stand up.
Tatley working it wider.
Well done, Liv. That's all right,
Reed whipping it in towards the run of Niedermar. The goalkeeper got just enough on it. And it's scrambled clear before Nikita Paris could pick up the pieces. And Hampton with the save here. Extended a little more than we've seen so far. Niedermar clearly onside. Just couldn't make real contact with it as she flung that right boot at the ball. Refuses to be defined, she says, by a position on the pitch, Viviana Niedermar. She is the complete player in that she can do a little bit of everything. Equally comfortable on either foot. That is a number 10 for a lot of her career. Insists she's not a number 9, although she is the central striker. More of a 9.5 is the way that she put it. The threat is well known, but you can watch all the videos you like. Dealing with that threat on the pitch is a different matter entirely. The numbers that she's amassed in this league back that up and some. She might not be one for stats, but hugely impressive. And she will, she says, probably look back on them at the end of her career with a little more interest than she currently displays. For her, it's on to the next target right now. Monum looking for options, taking the pass for Little.
Stand up! Stand up!
Niedermar dispossessed again. Understandable that Villa are paying a particularly tight attention, but now it might open up for Alicia Lehmann on the counter-attack for the home side. She does have support through the middle, she just delayed a little bit. Boy, Lorca was calling for it, Lehmann has to settle for the corner. And that's the other side of the Aston Villa game plan, having soaked up the Arsenal pressure. They do have the players capable on the counter. just held on to it a little too long, maybe. Wasn't quite decisive enough, but still the threat from the corner. Midway point of the first half. There's Pacheco to take for Aston Villa. Deep delivery and a free header, nearly but not quite for the home side. Forced all the way back to Anita Asante. Somebody that opposing coach Jonas Eideveld knows very well. Coached her actually in Sweden at Rosengård. Looking forward to a reunion, he said before the game, with his former centre-back. He's also reuniting with Arsenal today, having begun her junior career at the club. Second Aston Villa season now since signing from Chelsea.
Well done. Get your shape, Liv.
Ruben Moy.
Concentration. Hey.
Leave it for Maritz to swing in the cross. It's a good one, asking Miedemar to attack it. Quite come for Mead far side.
Stand up, Peck. Stand up, Peck.
Touch for Catley in there. The Australian almost got it back again. Valti.
Stand up.
Yeah, Valti had continued her run. Didn't get the return pass that she was hoping for, and then Miedemar's ball not precise enough. Still required the clearance from Hampton. From one goalkeeper to the other, such was the purchase that she put on it. Ruben Moy seeing plenty of it. Moves it for fellow centre-back Jennifer Beattie here. Beattie gets the ball back. It was she who started the scoring actually in their last away game at Reading. A header from a corner. Now Paris trying to find a pocket of space. They're just taken away from Miedemar. Boy Lorca. Pacheco. And Asante goes back to her goalkeeper. Was part of the Arsenal side actually that won the quadruple. Anita Asante in the 2006-07 season. And joined the Gunners as a junior all the way back in 1998.
Stand up, Liv. Well done, Liv. Patience again.
Just little. So many in cloud and blue to force their way through though. Valti calling forward and gets it. Leader of the Swiss contingent in the Arsenal camp. This is Maritz here. He gets the ball back from Nikita Paris. Ruben Moy. Need coming more centrally. Valti plays the pass. Not quite going according to Arsenal's script through the first quarter of the contest. It was an important contribution, wasn't it, from Megan Sargent to get her head to that, just ahead of Miedemar. Good ball in from Maritz, showing the sort of service that she's capable of providing down the right. Chloe Arthur able to get a foot on it. Asante coming under pressure from Paris. These two know each other's game very well. Now Sargent. Last couple of seasons at Bristol City, relegated last season before making the move to the Midlands. Move to the WSL for Ada Veld has been particularly seamless so far. He's got a bit of work to do here. Previous 3 years coaching at Rosengard in his native Sweden. Describes his style as a high-paced possession game. Well, certainly plenty of possession for Arsenal. Maybe not yet at the pace that he'd like to see. They'll try and increase the urgency here, and they have got the free kick for the challenge on Maritz, who's helped back to her feet by Maz Pacheco. Awkward angle to attempt the challenge from the former England under-21 fullback. Knew what was coming. It is a free kick and no more, but it's a promising position here for Arsenal. Catley's the one who put the ball down. Mead involved in the conversation as well, is going to leave it for Catley to clip it in. Keeper comes and got enough on it. Well, a player hurt in the process, actually, in collision, I think, with her own goalkeeper. It's Chloe Arthur who's down. Felt the full impact here. Sandwich really between her own goalkeeper and Jem Beattie. He was up there challenging for it for Arsenal. Hampton kept her eye on the ball though, made sure she got a glove to it. Ultimately at Arthur's expense. But nearly half an hour in, and Carla Ward's team still on terms, without too many significant scares. She'll be satisfied so far. The former Birmingham boss, he did such a fine job before that at Sheffield United as well. 2.5 years with the Blades. Led them to second in the Championship before her switch to Birmingham City. There's Rennie Allen, who has been one of the standouts for Villa so far at the start of the season. Scored the dramatic stoppage time equaliser at West Ham a couple of games ago, having got the winner against Leicester on opening weekend. Some start to her season. This little break in play is just affording Aston Villa the chance to collect their thoughts after an impressive opening half an hour from them. Blow to the nose for Chloe Arthur, but it appears she's going to be okay to continue. Who was also with Birmingham City, but paths didn't cross with Carla Ward until this season. Former Celtic player. Checks are still continuing, but I think she is going to come back onto the field here. Still waiting for clarification. They are temporarily down to 10. Back into the action comes Arthur, with Arsenal still on the ball. Touch for Valti in there to Little. Have to be so precise though, given the sheer volume of players back in the claret and blue. Arsenal will be used to this, and it won't be the last time they'll face this sort of approach from an opponent this season. Swung in towards Beth Mead. Couldn't take the chance, that might have carried for the corner, so it's cleared instead to halfway. where Arsenal will come again. Ruben Moy came off the bench for England in both World Cup qualifiers in September. Kim Little, now retired from international football, of course, after just 140 caps for Scotland, 59 international goals. Doughty, Villa just stepped off her for a fraction, invited the shot. By the time she thumped it goalwards, though, there were suddenly three defenders converging on her. Here's Miedemar. Neat touch. You've said that before. It's rather wasteful in the end. Hampton will gather it up rather than letting it go for the goal kick. Only been called into action on a couple of occasions, really, Hannah Hampton. Beth was also amongst the England goal scorers in World Cup qualifying last month. 3-3 at the start of the WSL season, and only 2 assists away now from equalling Karen Carney's record in the Women's Super League. 33 to her name so far, as Mead. Been too dissimilar in a way to the meeting actually between the sides on the last day of last season, when Villa did hang on for a goalless draw at Arsenal. Although it was they that had rather more to play for on that occasion, the point kept them up. Arsenal had already clinched qualification for the Champions League and couldn't finish any higher. Ended up 9 points behind the champions Chelsea last season, 7 behind Manchester City when finishing third. Plenty of options to call upon later, including Mana Iwabuchi there, formerly of Aston Villa. Made the move from the Midlands in the summer to sign for Arsenal. She'd only been here since January. She opened the scoring for Arsenal against Spurs with that equalising goal in the 5-1 Cup win on Wednesday, setting up a Final Four meeting with Brighton. Reaching the semi-finals for the first time since 2018, Arsenal. Quite some Champions League group to look forward to as well. That trip to Barcelona first up, the reigning champions on Tuesday. Hoffenheim and Kurgan of Denmark also in the section. As Arsenal looked long for Kim Little, couldn't quite reach it. Incredible bench, isn't it, for Arsenal? And look at who they could call upon at the latter stages of the game. Tobin Heath still finding her feet, really, after signing just the other week. Did start against Spurs for the first time in an Arsenal shirt. And a spell with Manchester United, of course, in this league last season, the 2-time World Cup winner. As Arsenal's attacking armoury wasn't formidable enough already. Something that Nikita Paris hasn't been able to get a league start until today. Edeval made the point that he will need everybody, and it's no use talking about the strength and depth in the squad if he doesn't utilise that depth, doesn't give everybody playing time, managing their minutes a little bit across the 3 different competitions that they've been involved in. In fact, they did qualify for the Champions League group stages, means they bypass the League Cup group stages as a result. Let's ease that fixture congestion a little bit. That's a good ball for Mead to chase out.